If you just finished rehab and you're wondering, can I return to run yet? This is the video for you. As a physical therapist, I've worked with a lot of runners who have transitioned from the rehab back to running pain-free process, and this is a pretty big area where there's just not a lot of guidance out there. So let's talk about this. One of the main things that you want to focus on as you transition is going through these return to run tests that I'm about to walk you through. These tests are going to make sure your body can handle these loads. So that's where these exercises and movements come in. If you cannot do these movements pain-free or with a very minimal amount of pain, you probably shouldn't be going back into running, and maybe you need weeks in rehab that are helping you transition into more of these plyometric moves or moves where you're just loading your body up more. One of the biggest mistakes that I see is just jumping back into running without having that proper transition. And that can definitely leave you injured down the road, re-injuring yourself. That's very common with runners. So you want to make sure that you go through this process and take it pretty seriously. But if you're wondering, okay, when can I start running? Like, this is the exciting part. You finished rehab and now you are getting back to what you love to do. So let's talk through this. Ideally, you want to be able to walk for 45 minutes to an hour. No pace requirements. I wouldn't necessarily do hills. But you just want to do flat surface, 45 minutes to an hour, and just see if your body can handle that low impact with that endurance. If you're good to go there and you've done it a couple times, then I would try these moves. I'm just going to give you a couple here. I also have a freebie for you that talks you through what you need to go through, a couple more exercises in order to make sure that you can return to run safely. Because the last thing you want to do is start running and a week later that pain comes back. I will link the freebie below. Make sure you take advantage of that and transition safely. So the first exercise you're gonna wanna go through, and you can do this in front of a mirror to make sure your form is good, but you're gonna wanna do some double leg tempo jumps, and that just looks like this in place. You're keeping that tempo, you're not jumping and resting, okay? So in place, and your aim is for 3 sets of 30 seconds. So after 30 seconds, you can take a break, it can be a minute or two, and then you'll get right back into it. Your goal is pain-free. You do not want pain with this. As you know with running, basically jump after jump in that single leg position. So if you're having trouble maintaining this or the pain is coming back, you might want to revisit those rehab exercises that you went through. Okay, so the first one, double leg tempo jumps. The next exercise is double leg lateral hops. Okay. Some call them like skier jumps. Again, you're looking for, can you maintain that tempo? 1, 2, 1, 2 for 30 seconds for 3 rounds. Once you go through that, next exercise and last exercise of the double leg is forward and backwards. So I'm gonna use my mat for reference, staying on the balls of my feet, keeping that tempo, forward, backwards. Again, 3 rounds, 30 seconds. If you can go through that, take a day off, and then I want you to go through these single leg exercises, okay? So you can do the double leg, go for your walk. The next day, come back, and we're gonna go through single leg. The first exercise with single leg is in place. 30 seconds, 3 times. Can you keep that tempo? And then you're gonna do the other side. Even if your injury is on one side, I want you to do both sides, just so you can compare how does one side feel to the other side. Do I feel like there's some weakness or fear involved with jumping on one leg? Next, you're gonna wanna go into single leg lateral hops. Again, 30 seconds, 3 rounds. Can you keep that tempo? Jump, 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 jump. And is it pain-free? Do both sides, because I want you to compare, even if your injury is only on one side, compare both sides just so you can feel, does one side feel more fatigued? Or do I have fear when I'm jumping on that single leg? Okay, once you're done with the lateral hops, 3 rounds for 30 seconds, then you're gonna go into forward, backward hops, okay? Again, you can pretend like there's a line there, you can do it over your mat, you're staying on the balls of your feet. You can always do it in front of a mirror, making sure your knee does not cave in, making sure you can keep up with that tempo. Again, 30 seconds, 3 rounds. If you want more of these exercises, just to make sure you're okay to get back into the run walk intervals for your return to run, make sure you grab my freebie. See you next time.